What if I told you that there is a man in this story who knelt down beside his bed and prayed for his own wife and unborn child to die, not in anger, not in madness, but in cold, quiet, calculated hatred. And when his wife bled out on that hospital table, when the doctors were screaming for a blood donor, he was the only match, and he said no. But God had other plans. And what happened next, what this man received in return for his cruelty, is a story that will shake something deep inside you. Stay with me, because this story, it does not end the way you think. But before we go deeper into this story, if you are new here, welcome to Tales by RM, the home of the most powerful African stories you will ever hear. Hit that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell so you never miss a story. Alright, let us begin.
In the city of Asaba, where the Niger River moves slow and the streets are always alive with noise and color, there lived a man named Kingsley. And to everyone who knew him, his neighbors, his colleagues, the members of his church, Kingsley was a good man, a dedicated husband, a pillar of his community. The kind of man people pointed to and said, "Now that is a man of character." But behind closed doors, Kingsley was something else entirely. His wife's name was Ifunanya, and every single time he looked at her, something dark and ugly rose up inside him. Not love, not even indifference, pure, silent, festering hatred. The truth was this: Kingsley never wanted to marry Ifunanya. He married her out of obligation because she had fallen pregnant. In his family, in his community, there was a code: you do not leave the mother of your child. So he stayed, but he never truly arrived. What made this even more painful was the kind of woman Ifunanya actually was. She was gentle, she was loving, she cooked for him, prayed for him, carried his name with dignity everywhere she went. And years before, she had sacrificed her own education, her own dreams to save Kingsley's life. She had given him everything, and Kingsley repaid her with secret contempt. Because somewhere out there was another woman. Her name was Janet. She was abroad in the United Kingdom. And in Kingsley's mind, Janet was the one he truly loved. And Ifunanya was the obstacle standing between him and that life. Hold that thought, because this man's wish was about to be granted far more closely than he ever imagined.
The night Ifunanya went into labor, it was like any other night on the surface. The city hummed its usual evening sounds outside their window. But inside their home, something was very, very wrong. Ifunanya had begun to bleed, not a little, severely. Her body was fighting a battle that it was slowly losing, and by the time she was rushed to the hospital, the doctors were already in crisis mode. But here is what Kingsley was doing while all of this unfolded. He was at home, kneeling, praying, but not for her survival. He was praying for her death. Hers and the baby's, both of them, so that he could finally be free. Oh, Lord have mercy. Meanwhile, at the hospital, the doctors made a terrifying discovery. Ifunanya had a rare blood type. The blood bank did not have enough. A transfusion was needed immediately, and every minute that passed was a minute closer to losing her. The nurses called Kingsley. They explained the situation. They tested his blood, and he was a perfect match. A perfect match. Lewasa. He had the power to save his wife's life literally with his own blood. And he said he was unwell. Unwell. He lied through his teeth, looked those doctors in the eye and said he could not donate because he was sick, when in truth, he was perfectly fine. He simply wanted her to die. And as Ifunanya lay on that hospital bed, her life slowly slipping away, her husband the man who vowed before God to love and protect her, was at home waiting for the news that she was gone.
But God was watching. And God was not done with Ifunyonya yet. Inside that same hospital, on a different ward, a man had come to visit an ailing relative. A stranger. A man whose name nobody there knew. He heard the commotion. He heard the urgency in the nurses' voices. He heard a woman was dying and needed blood. And something in him said, let me help. They tested his blood. Perfect match. A complete stranger walked into that hospital for a completely different reason. And his blood was the exact match that Ifunyonya needed to survive. Tell me that is not divine? The transfusion was done. The doctors worked through the night. And by the grace of God, Ifunyonya survived. The baby survived. Both of them alive. But this story was far from over. Because the stranger, the man who gave his blood to save a woman he did not even know, began to ask questions. Why was there no blood available from the family? Where was the husband? And when the truth came out, when the stranger found out that Kingsley had been called, had been tested, had been confirmed as a match, and had refused, he was horrified. He confronted Kingsley directly. He looked this man in the face and demanded answers. And what did Kingsley do? He did not deny it. He did not even flinch. He admitted it. Right there, in front of the stranger, in front of hospital staff, Kingsley said openly that he never wanted the marriage, that he never wanted the child. The word hung in the air like a curse. Friends, if this story is gripping you right now, if you are feeling something deep in your chest, then you are exactly where you need to be. This is Tales by RM, and we tell these kinds of stories every single week. If you have not subscribed yet, do it now and share this video with someone who needs to hear this story today. Now, let us keep going because the worst is still ahead. You would think that all of this, the near death of his wife, the survival of his child, the public shame at the hospital, you would think that would break something inside Kingsley. You would think it would humble him. It did not. Kingsley came home and he was the same man. Cold, detached, cruel in the quiet, suffocating way that only someone living inside the same house as you can be cruel. He looked at Ifunanya and the newborn baby and felt nothing. In his mind, he was already moving on because Janet was coming. His long-distance mistress, the woman he had pined for all these years. She was flying in from the UK and Kingsley had convinced himself that the moment he saw her, that everything was going to finally fall into place. He arranged the hotel. He dressed up. He felt something close to excitement for the first time in years. And when Janet walked through that hotel lobby door, he saw her and his heart lifted. But then she sat across from him and she spoke. And what she told him shattered every single plan he had ever made. Janet revealed that she had been born male, that years ago she had undergone gender reassignment surgery, that the woman sitting in front of him, the woman he had fantasized about, planned his entire future around, was not who he thought she was. Kingsley's face changed completely. Emotional. He pushed back from that table. He stood up. He could not even speak at first. Horrified, disgusted, betrayed, he stormed out of that hotel. And with every step he took away from that lobby, every plan he had made, every dream he had built on the bones of his wife's suffering, collapsed completely. The life he had chosen over his wife and child was never real. He had destroyed everything for a lie.
Kingsley drove home in silence. The kind of silence that fills a man when his whole world has just cracked open underneath him. Slowly, for the very first time, he was beginning to feel it. The weight of everything he had done. He packed, he got out of the car, he walked to the front door, he pushed it open, and she was packing. Ifunanya, his wife, the woman who had survived everything he had thrown at her. She was standing in their bedroom with her friend Doris beside her, carefully placing her belongings into bags, quietly, deliberately, like a woman who had already made up her mind long before this moment. He knew she had found out the truth about the hospital, about the blood, about the lie he told when he was unwell, about how he had stood in a hospital corridor and chosen her death over her life. He knew everything. Kingsley stood in that doorway and watched her pack. And something in him, something that had been locked away under years of resentment and selfishness, began to crack. He broke down. Right there in that room, the proud, cold, calculated man who had spent years despising the woman in front of him, he fell to his knees and he begged. He begged her to stay. He told her he was sorry. He said he would change, that he would be different, that he loved her, that he needed her. Ifunanya stopped packing. She looked at him, not with anger, not even with hatred, but with a kind of exhausted, bone-deep sadness that only comes from loving someone who never truly loved you back. And then she spoke. She told him that she was not leaving because she hated him. She told him she was leaving because her child deserved better. There is a proverb my grandmother used to say. She said, "The trap you dig for another man's feet always finds your own." Kingsley spent years plotting, years resenting, years wishing away the very blessings that stood right in front of him. A wife who loved him without condition, a child who needed him without question. And he threw it all away, chasing a fantasy that turned to ash the moment he reached out to touch it. Meanwhile, Ifunanya, the woman he had tried to destroy, walked away with her head held high, her baby in her arms, and her dignity completely intact. That is what this life does. It watches. It sees every secret thing we do in the dark. And in the fullness of time, it always responds. Be careful how you treat the people who love you, because the day may come when they are all you have, and by then, it may already be too late. This has been Tales by RM, and I will see you in the next story. And that, my friends, is the end of this story. If this story touched you, moved you, or made you think, please leave a comment below and tell me what hit you the hardest. I read every single one. And if you are not yet part of the Tales by RM family, subscribe right now. Click the bell. Turn on all notifications. New stories drop every week, and you do not want to miss what is coming next. Until then, stay wise, stay loving, and God bless you. I am your storyteller, and this has been Tales by RM.